Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Sun. Who has a story?
Yes, so I have a story concerning Ekiti State. It's my mom's hometown, so it interested me. So they said Ekiti State Governor Biodun Yebanji has said efforts are in top gear to ensure Ekiti Agro-Allied International Cargo Airport runs 24-hour operation to make the route competitive. He expressed the delight that the economy had recorded improvements in the last 2.5 years, promising to do more to ensure a more sustainable development of the state and better living standard for the people. So Governor Yebanji spoke during the monthly media chat, Meet Your Governor, and he said his administration is intended to make Ekiti Airport a major hub as well as a major driver of the economy, attracting more investors to the state and boosting the economic capacities of the citizens. He said his government has entered into discussions with 3 major airlines in the country to begin commercial flights at the airport, facilitate air travel, tourism development, more investment and transportation of cargoes, and export of farm produce to local and international destinations. So he expressed optimism that at least 2 of the airlines will operate flights to and from the airports. He said his administration also hoped to make the route competitive by working hard to install instrument landing system, the ILS, that would ensure operation of 24 hours flight at the airport. Congratulations to the people of Ekiti State. Hope this works out fine.
I have the federal government has vowed to tighten the noose on organized immigration crime, OIC, while canvassing effective border control. So the Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, said this to newsmen at the ongoing Border Security Summit in Lancaster House, London. He's calling for collaboration with the Sahel and West African countries on information and data sharing for effective border control. He said that we need more data sharing and better collaborations to make sure we don't just solve the problem, but we stop the problem from happening. The Interior Minister says that the major takeaway from the summit is proactiveness and not just being reactive, as countries are now more poised to criminalizing irregular migration. He says the summit is a wonderful one because it brings opportunities for ministers in border control to make sure we're all able to manage our borders to secure our country. He says organized immigration crimes were not an isolated problem to a particular country, emphasizing that it is a shared problem and therefore shared solutions must be proffered. He said Nigeria has border control solutions because we're not just a destination point. He also says that we have we've automated our solutions, and there are more measures in place to ensure borders are secure and ensure irregular migration is brought to an end. But we cannot afford to lose the battle even before we start, and that's why it's important that we have data sharing collaboration amongst, the different countries.
So I have the Ponzi scheme story. So the Director General of the Securities Exchange Commission, SEC, said that this recently enacted Investment and Securities Act 2025, signed by the President, has empowered the Commission to combat Ponzi schemes and other fraudulent investment activities. According to him, the Commission can now buck and bite, just as he assured the promoters of the Ponzi schemes to face 10 years or a fine of 40 million naira, among other penalties. The SEC was said that before SEC was not before the law, the SEC was not empowered to actually take down this Ponzi scheme. But now, with the law that's been signed by the President, they are now empowered to ensure they take down all who are involved in these fraudulent activities, and they risk that 10 years in jail. Moving on now to Vanguard. Killings roaming on lockdown by security operatives. Picture story here again. Kogi Central stands still for Akpoti Edoha. Liberation Day, Nigeria's 4.59 trillion naira exports to US under threat. Ekiti Airport will run 24-hour flights operation, says Governor Oyebanji. Edo governorship poll dispute, anxiety as tribunal gives judgment today. Killings, kidnapping, angry residents shocked major roads in Utukpo. Governor Sani reads Riot Act to monarchs over land grabbing. Okay, which story are we starting with in Vanguard?
So I have the Utukpo story. So an angry mob took to the street protesting the kidnapping and insecurity that they've continuously suffered in the states, saying that it is, disheartening that the security agents just seem to allow this happen without taking any action, which is supportive of what I had said earlier with the Edo State story we took. So reacting to this development, the media advisor to the Senate Minority Leader and lawmaker representing Benue South Senatorial District, Senator Abamoro, expressed worry over the worsening insecurity in the town and urged the government and security agencies to take action. So now you cannot find peaceful farmers farming in Benue. This outcry came out when the outcry for the Uromi killing came out against the North Scene. We constantly, cry about the farmers being attacked in their farms. There are plenty videos of, herders uprooting yams and corns for cattle in other people's farms without any lawful resolution of it. No criminal action is taken, nothing is done. And so this continues. Even the people of Uromi were also decrying that this happened because their people had been crying out over time, and their representatives were not doing enough to give a voice to what they were suffering, which was rape, kidnapping, and attacks in their farms and their homes in Uromi there. And so these people are also talking about it. In the same story, the Miete Allah Cattle Rearers Association, MACBAN, were also talking about speaking at the panel session for conflict resolution and security in livestock management on the second day of the livestock summit held in Makurdi. We're talking about how this has to be done in phases, that this has to be taken phase by phase. The livestock resettlement has to be done in phases, but I think it should be done immediately. This is a business, just as everybody's farming is doing a business. You are responsible for your cattle and you have no right to harvest my farm product. It's stealing. And if it is not treated as the crime that it is, it will lead to more crime, which is then, reprisal attacks and murders and all of that. Okay. I think the security agents should do more, but we also as citizens should do better. If I have cattle, I should respect your farm. If you have a farm, you respect my cattle. Simple.
It's a debatable conversation because your cattle got to eat. And I also got it. So it's a conversation for another day. But let me take the story on Liberation Day. Today is Liberation Day according to Donald Trump. For those of you following the international news, according to this report, Nigeria's total 4.59 trillion export to the United States may come under threat because today Donald Trump unveils his new swath of tariffs in what is called as Liberation Day. Though the details of the tariffs are yet to be known and are largely unknown, it is reported that proposals are being discussed to have a blanket 20% tax on all goods coming into the United States. According to the report, Trump has specifically not targeted Nigeria in any of the tariff levies, but the fact that all countries are going to be part of these 20% tax, the 4.59 trillion that we export to their country every year is likely to come under threat. So we're waiting for the April 2nd is the day he says he's going to announce today. So we are somewhat on standstill waiting to see what the announcement will be and which countries will be covered under this new tariff that they plan to insist and demand across the world.
Yeah, do we have time for one story?
Yes, please.
Yes, so this Zone 2 Command, Unicon Lagos, have busted a human trafficking syndicate that specialized in trafficking gullible ladies between 19 and 21 years to Mauritania, where they are used as sex workers. Arrested were 2 suspected female members of the syndicate in their recruiting base at Ikpaja, Ayobo area of Lagos. One of the suspects was said to have confessed to receiving 50,000 for each lady recruited for prostitution. The Zonal Command has also swooped on suspected members of the Aye confraternity group while planning an attack in Ijebu-Ife area of Ogun State, arresting a 54-year-old suspected member. So they recovered from the cultists their hideouts when they went there, locally made angle barrel pistol, 6 live cartridges, 21 voters cards suspected to be fake, and 1 emerald pump action gun with breech number 1335. So the Zonal Public Relations Officer, CSP Ayuba Umar, confirmed both arrests, said the human trafficking syndicate was busted March 22nd by operatives of the Zonal Intelligence Response Squad led by SP Francis. She gave the identities of the suspects as Stella Edem and Susan Michael. So he went ahead to explain that Stella Edem had confessed to the crime. She said she was introduced to one Annabelle, a female who is based in Mauritania, by Rosemary Isaiah Otobong, a female who has been prosecuted for the same offense and currently serving jail term. And she said that they had asked her to recruit young girls below the ages of 22 years to be used as sex workers in Mauritania, and that she was paid 50,000 naira commission on each young girl sent to Mauritania. She also said among the girls she recruited was her own 19-year-old daughter, that she has so far received a total of 500,000 from Annabelle. Now, her accomplice, Susan Michael, confessed as well, said they have been contracted by Stella Edem to recruit young girls to serve as domestic staff in Mauritania. But when she now inquired further, she discovered the girls were used as sex workers, so she had to withdraw from the business. That the only girl she sent to Stella Edem was rejected due to age and body size. At that point, she knew that something was fishing.
That's all we can take on Front Page Review this morning. When we come back, move on to our special feature for today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.